Well, let's now discuss these latest developments with Sultan Barakat, who's a professor of public policy at Hamad Bin Khalifa University here in Doha. Sultan, good to have you with us again. As you heard there, people in Gaza are mostly skeptical about these arrest warrants making any difference in their lives in the immediate. What measure of justice do you think could be achieved with these arrest warrants and this decision by the ICC?
Well, you can understand why they should feel skeptical about this. But in fact, I think it's a historic moment. I think it's a very important turning point in favor of justice, in favor of the international order, in favor of humanity, really. This is, the effect of it is going to be quite huge, not only on Israel and Netanyahu's ability to communicate and present himself as a prime minister. This is a sitting prime minister of a so-called democracy being called to sit in The Hague as a criminal, war criminal. So it's enormous in that sense.
Do you think either men will ever be brought to The Hague to face trial?
To be honest, whether they are brought or not at this stage, it is an important part of the pressure against Israel and its ally, the United States. Every war criminal who's been accused throughout the history of ICC has had an ally who rejected the decision. And I think this time is no different. The US is almost ridiculed itself 2 days ago by vetoing a UN resolution that pretty much repeated what the US itself tabled back in June. I mean, there was no major changes. They said that it did not include release of hostages first. That was never the issue. It is already there, the release of hostages and the ceasefire are in one package.
Right.
So it's an additional stain on the reputation of the United States. It is certainly adding to Israel's image of a pariah state and to the Prime Minister and his Minister of Defense as war criminals.
Yeah, certainly a further blow, I guess, to Israel's standing on the international stage. Now, there are those who are supportive of Israel who will say the timing of this ceasefire also the timing of this decision also makes a ceasefire in Gaza even more difficult to reach.
It's total nonsense, really, because the ceasefire was rejected by the US a day before the
And also, is accountability
made.
For crimes an obstacle or an avenue to end the war?
It's an avenue to end the war. It's an avenue for justice. It's an avenue to make sure that no one repeats what Netanyahu has been able to do. So it has a wider benefit that goes even beyond Palestine and the Palestinian crisis at the moment. But of course, you will understand from their position, this is how they've been tabling this for months now, that any attempt to seize the war will actually deprive them from an opportunity to reach a peaceful settlement. Now we know the negotiations have been suspended for some time. There is no real effort on behalf of Netanyahu and his government to release the hostages peacefully. So all of this really doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Do you think there could be a change in the way that Israel could rethink radically the way it's conducting this war as a result of this international pressure, which is now, at a maximum, it would seem?
It should be in principle. I think they were still living on the strength of the United States support. It's very disappointing to see the Biden-Harris administration again not standing up to for a ceasefire and so on. And they probably be banking on Trump coming in to take even more radical position in support of Israel. Now, people are split on this because Trump, as you know, is very unpredictable.
Right.
And he made promises to the Muslim voters in Michigan to try and bring an end to this conflict as soon as he takes office. And he could be really now coming in with the hope that he will be the president who brings peace in the Middle East. And first step to that is to make sure they stop the fighting at the moment. Then he has to work on the de-escalation with Iran and so on. So he may surprise all of us and come with something that we don't expect.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It'll be interesting to see what comes out of this new administration in the U.S. as far as the policy in the region. Sultan Barakat, Professor of Public Policy at Hamad Bin Khalifa University. Thank you for your time.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.